Yeah. There's the connect, man. What's going on? GamePoint podcast.
What's going on, man? It's that mouthy mofo out the Midwest. Ted Grams, what's poppin'?
Pops in the house. Been in the weight room. Let's have a conversation.
It's a lot going on, man. I'm excited about the sports world. Well, not too excited about my own team, but excited about the sports world, man. We just watched the
Man,
Indians.
buck up, man. It's a lot to be excited about, man. We knee deep in the playoffs.
We just watched the Indians get a W, you know what I'm saying? 4-5 in Houston. Cody Allen came through there. We got a little worried after somebody was able to hit it out on him.
That bullpen's shaky. Been shaky all year long. They missed the whipping boy Brian Shaw.
Give him a little credit, though, Pops. They did win today.
They win, but that bullpen is shaky, buddy. That bullpen is shaky. The front office will make a move before the trading deadline and bring some arms in here. They just need some help in that bullpen. Probably need a reliable right-hander and a reliable left-hander, but they need some help in that bullpen, and they'll get it. Front office will make a move before the trade deadline to get them a couple arms. I look for them to bring a couple arms in here, to tell you the truth. But,
sorry to cut you off. When is the trade deadline for baseball? About what month?
probably end of July. Right around the end of July, I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, it ain't Memorial Day, so I ain't going to hit you with too many baseball questions, man. I know Chris might have some stuff for you later on, but, man, let's get right into it, man. We down 0-2, man. Bron's plan was in full effect in the Toronto series. Is this still Bron's plan, or are we in trouble, Chris?
And this is still Brian's plan. You know what I'm saying? He just working the plan. I don't know what all the hype is about, what the excitement about, man. Don't y'all know that he been here before? You know what I'm
Brian's
saying?
plan was to be down 0-2, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think he knew that it could happen, once he kind of evaluated what he had going into the playoffs. And
Brian's plan.
Brian understand how this team need to come together throughout the playoffs, and that's going to be through persevering through some tough challenges and taking some L's and taking some lumps. But it's how you bounce back. And I want to draw attention to the growth throughout the series for Game 2. We got closer in Game 2, and I thought that Game 2 was hanging in the balance, and it was there for the taking. I would have liked to see LeBron be a little bit more aggressive. But, I had some little remarks on Game 1. I just wanted to say let's not be upset too much at Game 1. You would have liked to see. I thought we came out a little bit flat.
I'm pissed about Game 1, man.
We came out a little bit flat for the amount of rest we got, but
Bron's playing.
What you pissed at, man? Celtics won that game. They won that game, man. They balled
it's the
out
effort
crazy.
for me, man. And I don't know if we talked about this before, man. We're just not hungry enough. None of our players seem like they're trying harder. When you get outworked every game or most games in the playoffs, that makes no sense. Okay, we've been able to turn on this switch. Where's the switch at now? Is it, Kyrie's gone, we don't have to switch no more to realize that we're in the playoffs now, that we need to be playing our best basketball?
I mean, well, let's not act like when Kyrie was here, everything was all peaches and cream, like there weren't nights where we came out flat, like we didn't come out flat in halves. And that
12-1 last year.
Like the ball wasn't stagnant.
12-1 in the Eastern Conference.
I understand that, but it wasn't just Kyrie. It was a guy named LeBron James who had a great deal to do with that as well. And not to mention, I think that we just had more chemistry. We really shook our roster up a lot. And, guys can kind of say what they want, about, the championship team. And I know it was definitely, you've heard different things, about guys like Shumpert maybe looking for a different situation at different times. And, not always being happy with the minutes. And different stuff like that. Role players, you definitely heard murmurings. But like I said, those guys, they definitely had the chemistry and the energy. They knew how to win. They had been through it together. You know what I'm saying? With Kyrie going down in our first bout with the Warriors, and us having so many injuries and really having to delve into that bench. Guys like Dellavedova, Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, that's where they showed their best work. And that's where they became champions, and they were bred in a fire. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as much of that, we aren't as synchronized in that way. You know what I'm saying? We have lost some pieces, that we're champions.
Bron's playing.
Don't sleep on it.
What you mean by that, Dad? What, you ain't liking Bron's playing, man? What's going on, man?
Because Chris made this thing up last week, Bron's playing. Now, Bron's 0-2. I want to know if that was Bron's plan, Chris, to be 0-2, be down 0-2. Let's talk about Bron's plan, Chris. Give me something.
Well, look, if we gonna talk about it, I think in game 2, it definitely seemed like it was his plan. He wouldn't shoot that ball in the fourth quarter. It definitely seemed like it was his plan, And not to take him off the hook, obviously, like I said, I thought game 2 was there for the taking. But we did see some good things. It was kind of a tale of two halves. Ryan comes out hot in the first quarter, goes 21 for 27. And then, obviously, in the second half, Celtics outscored the Cavs 59-39. But I thought it was good. Kevin Love awakened on the road. He got it going. You saw him get it going, 21 points, 15 boards. And he didn't play bad in game 1 either. You know what I'm saying? I think, what did he have? Maybe like 18 points, something like that.
I got it down. He's averaging 19.5 for the series and 11.5 boards. So 2.5 assists. I don't understand that, but I guess if ain't nobody scoring besides LeBron.
Yeah, not only that, but we don't always go through him. That's one thing that we got going in the Toronto series, and I'm a bug on coaching a little bit. It seems like we get things going in some series, and they don't always necessarily convert over to the next series. I understand that this is a game of matchups, but if something works for us, especially, if it's a dynamic involving one of our best guys, or our second best guy, we got to work that, and we got to massage that, right? Like, I just feel like the post touches for Kevin Love, that's something that worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get that a try. Like, we can't, any aspects of offense, things that work for us offensively, especially when you talk about, gaining fluidity, LeBron getting off the ball. We saw him, make some great plays off the ball with Kevin Love, giving him those pocket bounce passes for dunks and layups and one situations. We gotta stimulate more of that within the offense, I would think. Like you said, because we don't have the maestro Kyrie Irving, killing guys with the ice cold ISO game. We don't have as much of the superstar power. We gotta find ways to galvanize our effort as a unit. And I think Kevin Love operating in the post as well as LeBron is something that we gotta see more of moving forward. And I gotta harp too on our role players. Most importantly, I just gave him a little credit, but like I said, you a champion. You know what it means to be a champion. And I'm talking to you, Earl. J.R. Smith, you know what I'm saying? Earl, I'm talking to you. You got to step it up and be better. You know what I'm saying? The big fat goose egg for game 2.
And that's the second time this playoffs he's had 0 points, isn't it? He did it early. He did it in another series, I feel like.
Yeah, his scoring has definitely been touch and go for sure. And that's something that we got to get shored up as we get deeper in the playoffs. Just 2 field goals in the entire series, 0 for 7 on 3-point attempts, in the series. Just 4 points in the series. But I will say this, you definitely saw, like I said, it was everybody eats. They ate crazy on us in game 1. 21 for Morris, 20 for Horford, 23 for Brown, and even 16 for Jason Tatum. And Al Horford even got it done on 8 of 10 shooting. We are able to simmer him down a little bit in game 2, taking some steps in the right direction. 5 for 13 for Horford, just 15. Jason Tatum, 5 for 12, only 11 points. And Morris, 5 for 14, 12 points. So you see the defense kind of key in and lock it up as we see those boys warm it up now. Excited for the matchup tonight. What do you want to see moving forward? I see you don't seem to be a real big fan of Bron's playing.
Not being down 0-2, Chris. But let's say this. Celtics have been fantastic at home during these playoffs, so you got to give them their props. I thought they played harder, played with those youthful legs. We looked a little bit slow at times, but, hey, I'm looking for us to hold serve. Got to win tonight, got to win Monday night. It's plain and simple. And then we make it a 3-game series, and then we'll be all right. But we got to get these next 2. Of course, LeBron needs more help from the role players. Like you said, that backcourt, what did we get? 3 points from the backcourt? Starting backcourt last time? That cannot happen. Hill and JR got to step up and play better. But they're not as good as road teams. So I look for the Cavs to hopefully even up this series.
Let me ask you this. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Who's the most important guy outside of our top 2 guys? We know Kevin Love has to be big. We know LeBron James has to be phenomenal. Who is the third most important guy that you feel like tonight really needs to get his game going and contribute heavy for us to see a home win tonight?
One of those two guards, J.R. Hill. I'd say that.
I'm going
either one.
I'm going Tristan.
Tristan been playing decent.
I know, but I think if he has one of those Tristan-like games,
A 15 and 13 night.
yeah, a game like that, man, playing a lot of defense,
that.
Setting the tone. I like him getting into it with Marcus Morris.
Don't hold your breath.
Hey, if you ask me if he came out to be our third best player and then JR chips in, and I'm not talking about scoring. He's not going to be our third scorer.
But I know what you mean. I just mean overall efforts
you
in playing.
You said 15 and 13. That's a bit much, ain't it?
No, I mean he's definitely had nights like that. I mean, you know that the boy is a glass eater. Is he not?
We've seen him get 7 rebounds in the first quarter, offensive rebounds.
Yeah, come on, now. I'm just talking. Yeah, but we've seen him. We've seen him get 15. We've seen him get 20. Like those nights when he is, I think points coming from Tristan. He's not somebody that I think the defense accounts for a great deal about scoring points. So it is, you can see a guy like Tristan when he goes over 10, 12 points, oftentimes you can see that surplus of offense be the difference, especially in a team where, shots are at a premium for us. So, yeah, to see a guy like that who you're not expecting so much with his effort be the difference and come through with a few extra points, I definitely can see that being a difference maker.
Who would you like to see as the third best player?
I'm going to keep it, kind of like business as usual. And just to let me know, I've been saying this whole time that I think that he's somebody, he doesn't have a ring, but he playing like he want one. And you just spoke on hunger. And he's been somebody who's been stepping up for his big and being a game breaker all playoffs. And that's Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver, has had pedestrian performances so far in this series. He's coming back home, and that boy's a smoking hot shooter, man. That's my favorite white boy, Cleveland's favorite white boy. He's a beloved son of the city now, and he showed up big for us. And definitely, man, he's somebody playing like he has the heart of a champion. And I definitely like to see him get the opportunity to do his thing in the finals one more time. So, yeah, Kyle Korver is my guy. That's LeBron's favorite weapon, and that tandem is dangerous. So that's where I'm looking. I definitely want to see them get it going, and I think that can be all the difference tonight.
I'm still sticking with that. I think we need to get more from Hill and Hill or JR.
Well, I think Hill's been the most Hill and JR been the most disappointing players.
Let me ask you this: for the fans, more casual fans who may not be as familiar, because Hill has pretty much been a role player. Yeah, I think he had his greatest stardom probably his rookie year with the Spurs, as far as just being like a big-time player, having the ball in his hands in some big-time moments. What do you think it is Hill's game? Because sometimes I even struggle with it. I'm like, I understand that he's a guy, it's hard when he's a guy, you kind of like, a jack of all trades but a master of none. What is it like when you think of Hill really getting off? What is it that y'all think about when you say, I need a big lift from Hill? What is that?
I need him to take some of the ball handling responsibilities away from LeBron, hit that spot up 3 when he has it, and play defense. I'm not expecting the guy to go out and get me 20, but, man, hit a couple spot up 3s, play excellent defense, don't turn the ball over, take some of the ball handling responsibilities of
and when you
LeBron
say ball handling, is that playmaking responsibility?
Yeah, do a little playmaking.
Okay.
And, that's all they're asking.
So what is it? Is it the screen and roll? Is it dribble penetration? I know ISO ball ain't really his game.
No, that's not his game.
So
I'm not
what is it? Is it the screen and roll? What situations do we put him in?
Yeah, when him with that against Toronto, they were running that pick and roll.
Okay.
Or that pick and pop, either way, whatever you want to call it. They were running that. Him and Kevin did that successfully. Him and Brown did it successfully.
And I like to see more of that action. Him and Kevin on that high screen and roll.
Yeah,
he can finish in transition too.
Yeah, but
that's something
that's not a strong point. He's basically a decent ball handler, doesn't turn the ball over. But he came here, he was shooting 41% from 3 for a while. I haven't seen that.
That's the one thing that's felt a lot from him is the 3-point shooter, because you would think he's a perfect just spot up shooter.
Yeah.
He hasn't been for us, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the pressure playing with LeBron James.
I'll say this: I think that, like I say, because his game is as I'm gonna just say, balanced as it is. He's got to be aggressive. And I think he just hasn't been aggressive from the 3-point line. The looks.
Yeah, he's only taken 4 shots this series.
Right. He's only taken 4 shots this series. And you see he's a guy who he is. He comes into a clean situation. He gets the ball clean. And he doesn't look like a guy who's ready to let it fly, just like when you watching the game. And, and the numbers obviously back that up. So I think about him and Houston really showed it to jump over into the West a little bit. Houston really showed it, man, for your others. I thought they laid out a great example, and that film would have been invaluable to us. How you got to go hard if you're a role player. Ball, you know what I'm saying? Remember your game before LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Remember that it was a time before LeBron where you really killed, man. So much, in fact, that you made it to the NBA, and even more so now that a playoff team thinks that you can contribute to a championship effort or a deep run. You got to step it up. You got to find your game, and you got to be aggressive in it. And I thought guys like Trevor Ariza and P.J. Tucker really did a great job with that. And we spoke on transition a little bit to bring it full circle back for the Cavs. I think that's something that guys like George Hill, Clarkson when he gets in, or Jeff Green especially, because he's very dangerous. He's his most dangerous in the open court. We got to be aggressive in LeBron as well. We got to, D up, clear the ball with a good, strong rebound, and then look to get it up court aggressively. Get the balls into our playmakers' hands, our guards' hands, LeBron's hands, and those guys have to get off to the races and get some energy in the game early and get some confidence to those guys, and give them, get them feeling it.
Bron's playing.
Bron's playing. Speaking of Bron's playing, LeBron has 13 turnovers within the first 2 games. This has been kind of a problem for him. When he's at his worst, it seems like he's careless with the ball. And it's not just with the passes. It's the dribbling off the back of his leg. It's just careless basketball, man. Yeah. What do y'all think attributes to that? Is it his mindset? Because we've seen games where – and he's mentioned I shouldn't even have that one turnover, where he seems like he's focused on not getting a turnover. What is his focus just not – 100% right now? Because I mean, some of these turnovers are just terrible. Some passes are not even close to.
The most annoying part about LeBron James' game, besides him pounding it like he does, are those turnovers. Sometimes they come at critical times. I guess I don't know if it's lack of concentration. He's careless with the ball. To me, sometimes he tries to. You can just see it. You can see it when it's getting ready to happen, and it's just. Oh, man, it's mind-boggling for a player of his talent. And I know he handles the ball a lot, and you can expect a couple turnovers. But when he's up in that 6-7 turnover, and some of them are just careless. So I think he's a little careless with the ball. A little nonchalant to me. Sometimes he tries to get too pretty with some of those passes. Yeah. And it's just it's very annoying, and it kills you. It's crippling. Was he the one that made that turnover right before the half? I think he was, right? And they got the layup off of it.
Game 1 or 2?
Game 2. And they were on a run, and he made I think it was a turnover. Next thing I know, they got a layup. I'm pretty sure it was LeBron. I mean, stuff like that is just.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that sounds like him. If it wasn't, I've definitely seen that a number of times.
Yeah, but we had a play where right before the half, and they got a layup off of it. Mm-hmm. It was just a turnover on just a whack pass, I guess you could say, and it was just. And he does that quite a bit, and I don't get it. I don't know if he's not concentrating, if he's trying to be too pretty, he's too careless. He's just too careless with that ball sometimes.
No, I gotta agree with you 100%, Pops, and that's been the turnovers, particularly at those inopportune moments like the closing of halves or the closing of games in the fourth quarter. Definitely that's been LeBron's Achilles heel, and that's been one of the big knocks on him in moving forward. I think that we've seen him clean that up a great deal, as he's progressed through his career. But I give some credit to Boston. Give a little bit of credit to Boston as well. I think they've done a good job of switching up the looks, especially in Game 1, throwing some different things at them and getting them flustered and giving them, some things to think about. And I think it puts more pressure on the chemistry and the synchronization of that offense and the fluidity of that offense. Like, I know we definitely talked about the carelessness and, the sloppiness with just the ball handling, missed dribbles off the leg and things of that nature. But I definitely saw a great deal of, passes and things, just expecting guys to be moving different ways and things like that, and that's not happening. So I think we got to hopefully we took a little bit of time to try to get on the same page and clean some of that up here tonight on our home floor. Mm-hmm. But that is. And I think, the second leading turnover guy, I don't think it was anybody who had more than 5 on the series as I looked throughout the whole for both teams. LeBron definitely led. He was the only guy I know in double-digit turnovers just 2 games in.
I think you're correct, though. It looks like Jeff Green got 5. which is not surprising. And
Even for the Celtics, though, nobody with more than 5 as well.
Jason Tatum has 4 leading the Celtics.
So there you go. So LeBron's definitely got to clean that up, and his teammates have got to help him in that regard as well. But no, not gonna make any excuses for Brian. That's that's one of the ugly parts of his game, rearing his head, and I think it's largely in part due to the mind of Brad Stevens and the tenaciousness of that Celtics D. They've definitely stepped it up and gave him a few things to think about, made the game harder. But I fully expect him to respond in a major way tonight.
Is Marcus Morris the second best defender on LeBron after Kawhi Leonard?
I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to say that just yet. I like to see a little bit more, but I think he's definitely one of the guys who does a better job on LeBron. I'm not ready to go that far just yet, me personally. But he is somebody I do recognize, his efforts on LeBron. He definitely is a better matchup for LeBron. Absolutely. Got to give that man that credit. He's been phenomenal on defense.
Yeah, I don't know about that second best defender stuff on here. Hey, shoot, he might not be the best defender on his team on LeBron. Marcus Smart might be.
Marcus Smart he lion-hearted, man. He little in that matchup, but he's definitely lion-hearted. So, I'm not gonna argue with that. He was a difference maker, especially in game 2. I thought he really carried them, creating offense in the pick and roll for guys like Horford and others, as well as like back taps and effort plays, things that are just invaluable, don't always show up in the stat sheet. But Marcus Smart, he's the biggest X factor for the Celtics, and he's definitely one of the biggest X factors in this series, along with guys like Kyle Korver. And another, we haven't said his name. I just heard his name, but he's somebody who has stepped up for us in the previous series against the Toronto Raptors. There were times where he came alive, and those were some of our best moments, I think, as a team. And I think we're a lot better when he has it going, and that's Jeff Green. That's Jeff Green. You said his name, and it almost just reminded me about him. Like, he's somebody with everything that we lost. He's one of the acquisitions that throughout the year and even, a little bit in the playoffs, it hasn't been as consistent as we like. But when we are playing well, when he's playing well, the team tends to be able to put out a winning effort. He's got to step it up tonight. He's got to step it up tonight, and he's got to get going. And we talked about the transition game and how we've got to use that as a tool for us to get guys confident and get guys some easy looks early. And he's a guy who he's got to be a big part of that. And that's got to be his mindset tonight.
That's another guy, don't hold your breath. Not a big fan of Jeff Green.
Like I get it, but I'm just saying what has to happen for us to win.
Pops, are you blaming management for the product that's out on the court right now?
No, well, you have to somewhat blame management. You trade a star like Kyrie, and right now, as we speak, we're getting nothing in the playoffs from all we got for Kyrie. Nothing. And that's a heck of a trade there. You trade one of the premier playoff players in the NBA, regular season or playoff players, in Kyrie Irving, who was what Kyrie was giving you 25 a night. Now we've got nothing to show for that. Nothing.
Can that go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history?
Well, I'm not.
Well, listen, Kyrie hasn't even been on the court much all year or any in the playoffs. Yeah, so no, I'm not prepared to say that.
We got to see what the 8th pick becomes. But right now, it was terrible. Like the thought that we could have pulled out when we found out that what's his name's hip was bad, when Isaiah's hip was bad. That's what they said. LeBron was upset about that. We didn't pull out or demand more than that second round pick.
My whole thing is this though. To me, Kyrie's got to get back on the floor and look anything.
Well,
look like at least some resemblance of his old self.
Well, yeah, that's the key.
Before you can really call it a loss.
Yeah,
because I mean.
But it's just the theory.
Isaiah had some complaints about those guys in Boston, and you even spoke about a lot of different guys getting fired. I think Kyrie's health has been a little mismanaged, both by himself and his camp, because obviously he had some decisions. He talked. There were some rumors that he threatened that he would have knee surgery if we didn't trade him. So I think he's mismanaged his own health with some of his own personal choices, as well as as well as Boston.
Y'all want to head out west, man, or y'all want to continue talking
No,
about?
definitely. Let's go ahead and head out west. You know, it's a lot to talk about. This is a exciting series, high octane offense. This is the direction of the league, and I feel like even despite LeBron, it's kind of like the marquee matchup. And it's what everybody's tuning in to see. I know I've stayed up late to catch both games, and you know, I just said I talked with you know, Chris, one of our main production guy. Down there in Houston, and we actually talked about it, and we just discussed the difference, and that's just you know, one of the themes for this whole series out west with Houston Rockets, pardon me, matching up with the Golden State Warriors. It's just been what's the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 that resulted in a win in Game 2 and a loss in Game 1, and ultimately the loss of their only trump card, I feel like, in this series, and that was home court advantage. They gave that up immediately in Game 1. Really just being outgunned. They chose to go the ISO route, try to flex their superstar muscle, and you'll lose every time going against the Golden State Warriors. I thought it was kind of like a Harden versus Durant type stage to be set. You didn't see a whole lot of player movement too much at all for Houston.
Player movement or ball movement?
You said it, buddy. You said it, and not only that, but I mean, I thought Golden State was defending them well, giving good efforts. You really only saw him really have his way with Curry. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody, for real, you really kind of only saw guys just kind of pass Curry around, him and Chris Paul. That was the only real matchup where they really, you know, struck out on him. And like you said, just a lot of ISO ball things, very stagnant type of offense. I thought maybe Golden State kind of, you know, fell into some similar things, but like I said, they're a championship team. They got championship caliber guys. They were able to move the ball enough with guys like Draymond Green. Clay was very efficient, you know, knocked down a lot of shots, just the wide open looks. So you gonna get out when you don't come to play your A game. Your B game and Golden State's B game is no match.
Mm-hmm.
It is no match. So you got to come in, you got to play your best ball. Rockets just weren't prepared to do that Game 1. But I love how they responded. What did you think about that, Pops? Because I'm not going to lie. I was looking at, you know, some sequences from
I thought
the
it was
Houston
a sweep
Rockets.
after that first game.
Man,
I ain't gonna lie, I was calling it sweep.
No,
I thought Golden State
didn't
looked
expect the
unstoppable.
sweep. I didn't expect the sweep, but man, I do. What did you think about that, Pops? Because I thought it's hard to play basketball better than this. I literally was thinking that in some of those sequences with the Rockets, the new school ball. I know you probably like, young fella, go ahead and give it to me. Let me get some of the fire. But I thought that was basketball at its finest.
Yeah, the key to Game 2 is that they had P.J. Tucker and Ariza. Both of them played excellent. They shot the ball well, and they both played excellent. That was a key for them. But they are James Harden, man. You know, he can be a problem, man. But it seems to me like he's pounding it a bit too much to me.
In the second game too, or just the first game?
I thought he pounded it quite a bit. I mean, that's his game. I understand that, but
I thought they had good balance in Game 2.
Yeah, but I think you know, you had two key role players have excellent games, and to me that was the key. I'm beginning to wonder. You think Steph is healthy?
No, I don't think so.
Check this out. I'm at a point to where I'm not making excuses for superstars in a prime, especially one the caliber of Steph Curry. I mean, like we've all said before, and it's really the motto. When you get to this point in the season, no matter what sport it is, we're all banged up.
That's true.
Everybody's banged up. Nobody's 100%. So, no, a guy at the caliber of Stephen Curry, we talking about a two-time champion, two-time MVP. Just not taking him off the hook. He's got to be better. Chris Paul has responded ferociously. I'm not gonna lie. During his tenure with the Clippers, Curry tended to own him. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like a good matchup for Chris. Shout out to the point guard Chris Paul, because he really has turned it up and kind of turned the tide of that whole matchup. And he's gotten the better of him. He's dropped him twice. I mean, and I thought it was a little contact in that first one, but that second one, that was all sauce. And you know what I'm saying? Get the mop because the sauce is dripping. You know, be careful out there, young fella. Be careful. Because Chris Paul definitely taking them to school. And we talked about what Trevor Ariza and P.J. Tucker were able to do, really anchoring, an all-out assault from the corners, both shooting the ball and being very aggressive, driving the ball to the cup. I thought Chris Paul was a big part of that on the break. I can recall another beautiful dribble fake where he spent the ball. Kevin Garnett was not Kevin Garnett, pardon me. KD was on his way out, I think, to get somebody. Might have been Harden. I think it was either Harden or P.J. Tucker on his way to get him out in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Good ball, dribble fake, spent the ball back to him, draw the defender back to him, then dish it back out for the three in the corner, knock down. I mean, it's just a number of highlight plays that only he can make in my mind. It's only been a handful of guys throughout the history of the game. And Chris Paul, a real maestro out there, doing a great job. I think he really is. I think he was the game breaker for the way that they played. Like that mentality, that ball movement. You only kind of see that on the team with a true point. That the level of ball movement and player movement that they achieved, the true balance. I think I tweeted it out to those of you that's following me at Boy Wonder on Twitter and Instagram. Get with me, check me out. But I said, Houston Rockets, they got that basketball zen going that Phil Jackson used to coach. They really did. They didn't do it with the triangle, but I thought they did it with great balance, just in everybody having a great effort and the ball moving around, you know what I'm saying, finding guys.
Y'all ain't mentioned Eric Gordon, man. Out of all the players y'all mentioned, man, I thought it was his ability to score in the ISO and being able to hit open shots during the game, man. I thought his production in game too, man.
Yeah, because he had 27, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a big game too.
He played really big.
He played big.
I will say this, though, and he is, give him some credit because he is a star, you know what I'm saying? He's a star caliber guy, and he's a guy who can be an all-star for you, and he can be a six-man of the year for you. So he's got a great deal of talent. But I'm not always in love with the shots that he gets. And he makes some of them. And last night was one of those, not last night, but pardon me, game 2 was one of those nights and one of those games where he got some bad shots to go. But we've seen him in a slump, and we've seen him, slump up until game 2. He kind of awakened in game 2, and I think that was a big difference. We didn't really, we talked about a reason P.J. Tucker, but yeah, I think Eric Gordon is more somebody that they really count on his offense. Yeah. Obviously, what you get from P.J. Tucker and Trevor Ariza, you need their defense. You need their effort plays and things of that nature. But I think more on a night-to-night basis, you're definitely looking for a guy like Eric Gordon to be more consistent for you and be more that real, strong third option in the offense. So he definitely came on strong, and that was definitely a game breaker for him as well. What is it? Let me ask y'all this: Has Houston blown their best chance at winning this series with losing home court?
It depends on these next 2 games. I mean, if you get one of the next 2, you got home court right back.
I mean, obviously, but I mean that's a tough thing. That's something that you were in a position where you didn't necessarily have to do that.
I think they're good enough to win in Golden State, so I don't think they've blown their best opportunity. I think they can still get one in Golden State and be right back where they need to be.
I disagree.
So
you're saying the series is over?
No, not the series is over, and not that they can't win, but I think that once they get to Golden State and you really have to play a fully loaded Golden State team, in their house at Oracle Arena with Kevin Durant, and he's got it going and he's bearing down your neck, and with PJ Tucker at maybe 6'8", probably more like 6'7", Trevor Ariza pretty much the same, maybe an inch or so, inch and a half taller. You don't really have anybody to guard him. I think that that starts to creep into your mind like, oh my goodness, we've created this even more daunting task for ourselves. And sometimes the opportunity that you miss, it's almost like you start thinking about the shots that you've missed.
Do you think the game plan though is to stop Kevin Durant?
I'm just saying everything that goes into beating Golden State, they're a really good team, man. I think that it almost demoralizes you a little bit when they go to Oracle and really have to deal with those boys out there. I think that they're gonna put a little something in their mind, and they're gonna recognize the opportunity that they did lose in game one.
If you could stop Steph and stop Clay,
can you do that though?
Like Steph doesn't have the same step to me as he usually does, and yes, I think you can stop Clay.
I don't know. I think Clay is one of those guys. It's kind of like catalyzed by everything Draymond Green does for you.
I've seen Clay get stopped multiple times against the Cavs in the finals.
Clay's stoppable, man. He can't.
I'm not
and
saying
just like
he's
you
not
said,
stoppable.
he's always like.
I'm not saying he's somebody who's unstoppable on his own. But you got to remember, basketball is a team game.
Yeah, but
basketball is a team game, and what I'm telling you is, to a certain extent, he's got to stop himself, because the situations that Golden State can put Clay in and the type of looks that they can get for Clay, to a certain extent, you can't stop that. You know, it's certain things that you can do to make it hard on him. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he's going to be a great shooter, getting some very clean looks. And he's just got to miss some of them for you. And you can do what you can to try to stop that. But ultimately, no, it's not anything that you can do to stop Klay Thompson from getting the clean looks that, the superstars around him are just going to afford him. And guess what? Curry, at home, I expect him to be good enough to be a threat. He hasn't been great on defense, and Chris Paul is applying a great deal of pressure to him, but, he's still the most prolific shooter that this game has ever seen. He loves to play at home. He loves that home crowd, and they love him. Like, I look for him to be at least some semblance.
2 for 13 from three-point line right now.
He's not playing well, but like a lot of our guys, to jump back and forth from the Eastern Conference Series, it's a lot of our guys who aren't playing well that we're looking to, step up and turn up tonight at home. Sometimes they call it home cooking. That's what they call it, Pops. You ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of home cooking.
Home cooking, that's what they call it. And Steph Curry, he's hoping, get in there with Aisha, man, and get him a little bit of that home cooking, get his mind right, and come out there and be better at home. And that's something, guess what? They don't have to win no more at home. On the road. They've done their dirt on the road already. They just got to win out at home. And the series is over. So I think I think Houston, they made it real hard on them, on themselves. They had a big task ahead of them as it was. They didn't put a lot on their plate right now. They didn't put a lot on their plate. Now they got to be super.
But what about the way that they won a game too? You don't think that gives them the confidence that they could win in Golden State?
Man, things change so much from game to game. To me, honestly, they really needed 2 wins like that to open the series to keep Golden State to really make a statement to them.
Are you saying the series is over?
I don't think the series is over, because it's a lot of, like I said, in game 2 it gives me some faith that Houston can elevate their game. Like I said, that was some of the basketball that I looked at. That's some of the best basketball when you talk about real beautiful basketball, the back cuts and the player movement, ball movement, and the recognition that they were getting.
And they shot the 3-ball very well in game 2.
Shot the 3-ball very well, but that wasn't the only thing. I thought early on they did a good job of just being extremely aggressive. They role players just show, hey, I got game. Go out there and play your game. Ball like you got game. Ball like you worthy of the NBA. Ball like you worthy of being a standout player on a championship team. And that's something that Ariza, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, they all did that to the highest level.
Is this playoffs better than last year's playoffs to y'all? Are y'all more intrigued by the games? Are y'all more impressed by the games? Are y'all enjoying the experience more?
I am. I think the change up of the supporting cast for LeBron. Some would say their as well as the elevation of Houston getting Chris Paul and PJ Tucker, elevating their game to where they are right now. I think it's definitely made, the road leading up to the finals a whole lot more fun to watch. Absolutely.
Even with the Cavs struggling like they have?
I think it is intrigue. Like, watching the Cavs sweep to the finals last year, sure, it was fun to watch because it was the home team being dominant and putting on the show. But at the end of the day, that's not the NBA that everybody's looking for. You don't want to see teams sweeping their way to the finals through the playoffs.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
mind it so much when it's the home team doing it.
Like I said, yeah, but I mean, this game is for everybody, and just call me a generous and thoughtful guy, but Cavs aren't everybody's home team.
Yeah, that's true.
At the end of the day, I want to see the most competitive league.
I was gonna say if the Cavs don't make it, are you still gonna watch the finals?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I'm watching the final
Yeah,
basketball.
absolutely. And I do, obviously I'm a Cavs fan first, and foremost, without a doubt, you know what I'm saying? This city is in me. But I mean, I love the game. I'm a student of the game.
I guess from what y'all seen so far, and if just looking at the 4 teams, what would be the most exciting finals matchup?
Houston Cavs. No, you know what?
Now,
take that.
where I was going to
Houston,
remove any
Boston.
bias. Remove any
Houston,
bias.
Boston.
Okay.
Houston, Boston would be the most exciting. I ain't gonna lie. Houston, Boston would be the most exciting. Because it's like, all right, we got these 2 stars. Yeah, they 2 stars and they 2 superstars, but they're unproven. They haven't won a championship. And then you got these young guys. Yeah, they young and they unproven too, but it's a lot of them. It ain't just 2 of them. It's 5 or 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of them boys. They ball by committee, and everybody eats. So I think that it's a lot of storylines there, and it's a lot of gems to be had in a matchup like that. And it'll definitely be something different too. We've seen.
What not Boston and Golden State?
To me, that's not a great matchup because
Boston couldn't
it's
score enough.
right, and not only that, but the points that I just made. Boston, it's a lot of guys in Golden State too. They got 4 or 5 guys who can really do you bad and change a game, but they're proven. their guys are proven.
Is this remember when OKC lost to the Heat in the finals? Is this Boston team similar to that team? Just a bunch of young guys kind of getting past the older.
No, I don't think they're that good.
Okay.
They're not that good. I don't think. That's a question they would have to beat us. And then you could ask that question. But
okay, I was leaning towards them. If they beat us, does it kind of remind you of
if they beat
when
us,
OKC got past San Antonio? I think was the Western Conference Finals.
It could, but it would have to be a real star to emerge.
I don't think their talent level is that high either. You're talking about
right. That's what I mean when I say not as good.
3 of the top 10 players in the league,
Right.
And Harden. You're talking about Durant and Westbrook,
Yeah.
all on the same team as youngsters.
Y'all don't see Jaylen Brown as good. Where do y'all rank
As
Jaylen
good
Brown?
as who?
Oh man,
As
Is
good
he
as who?
is he not a potential All-Star one day?
Not that level all-star, Dez. Not that level.
He's a
all-star.
potential all-star, but
Why not? He
As good as Durant.
this is his second year in the league. This is his,
Westbrook
y'all make it seem like he on his second contract.
No.
He's in his second year in the league, and look what he's doing.
No, I don't see.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't see that kind of progression.
I'm a big
going.
fan of his game.
I ain't gonna lie. I think he's a bitch. I think he benefits a lot from the system.
Yeah,
Like we've seen for a lot of guys
I don't
who
see that
get
kind
up
of
with Brad
talent
Stevens.
level.
A
Me
lot
neither.
of guys benefit from the system. That doesn't mean that Tim Duncan isn't one of the greatest of all time. I mean, not to put Jaylen Brown in that conversation, but what he's done in his first 2 years as an NBA player has been amazing, especially in the playoffs. I mean, they lost Kyrie Irving and Hayward, and now they're up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he's a big part of that, along with Al Horford and Jason Tatum. I know they're do it by committee, man, but I guess I was just interested in what y'all felt about Jaylen Brown.
Terry now.
Yeah, and obviously I don't think
Cleveland boy.
I don't see the talent level, quite frankly.
Yeah,
So
I do, and that's
don't
what
see
I'm
the
gonna have to
talent
say.
level
Those guys,
to compare them with that.
he's a
Oklahoma
two-way
State.
player though.
he is.
Is he? So y'all, he couldn't even be a Jimmy Butler.
That's when you put it like that.
I don't know if he'll be the scorer Jimmy Butler is. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I
I
just
think
don't
he
see
got
the
enough.
talent
I think
level
he
to
got
compare
enough
with
to
that
average
Oklahoma.
24. 22, 24. That's a Jimmy Butler level. You know what I'm saying? To give you the two-way lift. I can see that for Jaylen Brown. I do agree. Maybe we sleeping on Jaylen Brown a little bit. I will say who I do see it in though.
Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
So Jason Tatum has a higher trajectory than
I think
Jaylen.
even if Kyrie Irving, comes back, I think after all the injuries, I think in 5 years, I think Jason Tatum is the best guy on this Celtics team. provided that, they all kind of still there. In 5 years, I think Tatum's the best guy.
You agree with that, Pops?
No, not if Kyrie. Not if Kyrie.
He love Kyrie.
No.
I say, man, listen, this is gonna be his second injury on the same knee.
Give me a break with Jason Tatum, man. He's a Duke guy, man.
So you don't see Jason Tatum being an all-star either, Dad?
He might. You got to wait on these Duke guys.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I think Jason Tatum is special. I've seen enough to say it.
Okay.
Size.
That's why
his
he's
shooting prowess.
13 points a game against the slow Cavaliers of these first 2 games.
Hey, we've made it a point to slow him down because he is so good. He's an emphasis of our defense. He's definitely somebody we're looking to shut his water off. We won't win this series if Jason Tatum runs wild on us. All right, real quick in closing, what is it that we want to see tonight as the game is warming up? We seeing some things as far as
want to see a W.
You want to see a W, but what's the keys? We've been talking kind of about what's been going on throughout the first 2 games, and we talked about guys that we want to see, but what's the keys? Do LeBron need to take over? Does is it gonna be the others? Are these guys gonna have to step up at home and kind of get full off the home cooking or?
Well, Pops, I think
are
you
y'all
said it
looking?
best.
Y'all think Boston just not gonna play as good on the road here?
I think a little bit of that, but Pops, you said it best, man. LeBron got to be the best player on the court for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
That third quarter, we got to fix the third quarter. I think we've done good at opening up games a little bit. Game 1 was terrible, but game 2, we played very well in the first half, and then third quarter we just disappear, and we got to close out the games. Obviously, it would help if Boston came out and just had a bad game. I don't want to see that though. I want to see them. I want to see us earn one. I don't want to just see Celtics lose one.
Yeah, remember they're
I
not
think
as good
Boston
on the
too well coached.
Yeah, they're not as good on the road though. Let's keep that in mind.
No, they're not. They're not as good on the road. But I think they're a team because of their coaching, and because they aren't necessarily superstar centric, or everything isn't necessarily focused around one guy's success on them, do or die on any given night. I do think it's harder to blow them out. You know what I'm saying? You get more of a team effort, more of a team contribution. So I think it's a lot of factors that kind of have to fail for them to be blown out. And in turn, that keeps them in a lot of games, and that makes you dangerous in the playoffs. And that's how you win on the road. You hang in. Only thing that sucks is they don't have a superstar to go for the juggler necessarily in the fourth quarter. But it's a young guy they call him Scary Terry, and he could do it to you. So
I would like to see the Cavs stop Horford. I don't want to see Horford have a good game. I'm tired of seeing Horford have a good game. And that's the guy to do it right there. As the TV show Tristan Thompson roaming up. I would like to see him stop Al Horford, man. I want to see, Al Horford's shot get blocked. I don't want to see Al Horford have no big shots at the end of the game. Let's get physical with these guys, man. We can't get bullied tonight. That's another thing, man. We kind of look soft, man. I thought Thompson showed a little bit of heart last week. Getting into it with Marcus Morris. Ain't nobody yelling in my face, and I'm acting like it's cool.
I did that too.
J.R. Smith, I like the little push at the end, and then I like the mugging of Marcus Smart. I didn't mind that. Somebody got to show us a little heart, man.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though, Tristan, you got to let Marcus Smart punch you. Listen, this series get a whole lot easier. Marcus Smart not in it. You got to let Marcus Smart lose himself, man, because he was ready to do it. That boy was ready to go sit down somewhere. Listen, that's exactly what we want. JR ready to take that way because he's gonna bust your mouth up, Earl. He was gonna bust your mouth up.
They got 2 tough guys over there. Marcus
mouth
Smart
looking like
and
he been
Morris.
eating hot wings.
Yeah, those are 2 tough guys.
That boy
though.
mouth looking like he been drinking Kool-Aid, a fruit punch. But yeah, you gotta let him. You gotta let him let that one rip. But it was.
You agree with that, Dad?
Listen, hey, it was a guy named Dennis Rodman, and he grabbed Moses Malone whole butt cheek on national TV. You remember that?
I don't remember that one.
Man, you don't remember when Rodman grabbed Moses Malone butt cheek, man, and threw his whole game off?
No, I don't remember that. I know he used to mess with Moses. I mean,
Man.
you talking about Karl Malone?
Not Moses Malone. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
I'm
fault.
about
Carl
to say,
Malone.
yeah,
My
Karl
fault.
Malone, yeah.
My fault. You know these
But,
young guys.
Hey,
do.
but how would you know, Chris? You were born in 1992.
Hey man, it's this thing called YouTube. Man, you get on there, man, get to surfing around. You can pull up anything. Man. What you think I was gonna do if you ain't remember? Ain't got no time machine,
you said
man.
Moses Malone and Karl Malone.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's getting a little late.
I'm schooling the youngsters again.
Hey, that's why we got him here.
What
That's why we got him here.
Well, school is on something real quick, Pops. What's the greatest finals team you've ever witnessed?
Oh man! So you're talking about probably the. What are you saying? What team do I think is the best of all time?
Yeah, if you was like, hey man, we need to win it. We need to win a 7-game series. And we could pick any generation, any team, any generation. Which team you going with to win the finals? And then I got a separate question of what was your favorite finals team?
This is gonna probably surprise a lot of people because I know they're gonna think Lakers, Chicago, Mike, and them. But I thought probably the most dominant finals team I saw might have been the. I like that Philly team that won in 1983 with Moses Malone.
Dr. J was on that team?
Yeah, Dr. J, an older Dr. J. But I thought that team was just dominant. I think that year maybe they lost one game in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that team would have been a lot of problems for a lot of people.
Moses bad boy there.
Yeah, Moses was that dominant. And, they had Maurice Cheeks, Andrew, Tony. I think might have been on that team.
I done talked up a legend for him.
Yeah, that team was just dominant.
Okay,
I mean, I
who
think
they beat
lost.
in the finals to win it?
Who did they beat that year? I think the Lakers. They beat the Lakers, but the Lakers were hurt. They were banged up that year.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it was the Lakers, but that was one of the most dominant playoff final teams that I have seen. Trying to think, did Mike have any team that was? That team that won 72 games was pretty good too.
That's what I was just about to say.
But I would
know they
think,
don't got the record no more.
I would think that that Philly team might have been a problem for just about any great team. And like I said, Moses was that good and that dominant.
What was the school me and Chris went on Moses? He's a guy that can get you 40.
He can get you 40 and 20 rebounds. Like
Easy.
It wasn't nothing.
Okay.
Easy.
40 and 20 rebounds or 30 and 20 rebounds.
Moses would get you 40 if
he
he had to. I mean, he was just that dominant. He was that relentless on the boards. And that Philly team was a monster.
What was he? Was he an athletic guy or was he more of a finesse guy on the block? Just had everything, all the kicks in, all the bells and whistles on the post.
Yeah, well, it's just effort, just relentlessness. Offensive rebounds, extra shots. He was just a dominant, and like I think even before that series, he said the famous 4-4-4. That's how he expected the series to go. They were just that dominant. And I know that probably surprises a lot of people who would think that maybe the Boston teams or the Laker teams or even the Chicago teams. But for my money, I like that Philly team.
Did they win back to back?
No, they didn't go back to back.
So they only got one ring.
Yeah, it's that one ring.
How many rings Moses got?
I think Moses just got that one ring.
Dr. J as well?
Yeah, in the NBA, yeah. Doc just got the one ring. But
that
particular
can't
year, he asked me what team. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about the 83 Philadelphia 76ers were hard to beat, man.
Okay.
They were hard to beat in my estimate. I'm trying to think what those Bulls teams would have done or any of these. I don't know. I like that Philly team, man.
What about you, Chris?
Who I like or my favorite? Obviously, my favorite.
Who do you think was the best finals team you've seen? Now, obviously, we talking probably the new millennium, but that's 18 different finals teams, but every 18 different finals. Who's been the most impressive finals team to you?
I'm gonna throw a curveball in there. I'm gonna say somebody that people might not really be expecting, but I'm gonna say that 2010, 2011 Dallas Mavericks team, it was really built like a brick house from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? They had a true point at the helm with Jason Kidd. And, this is older, veteran Jason Kidd, who you getting pretty much, the value. You getting a great value for him as a player and a coach out there on the floor. He can knock down threes now. His playmaking was at an all-time high. You had a Dirk, who, was probably in the twilight of his prime. He had all his tricks sharpened and fine-tuned and honed to perfection and to the optimum. The fadeaway was filthy. You had Tyson Chandler anchoring the D, holding everything together for you. Defensive player of the year caliber type guy in performances. And he could go get the lob. You had J.J. Barea, Pitbull, coming off the bench. You had Jason Terry, who was a Pitbull. He was the first guy to really, to me in my mind, really expose LeBron James. Just really expose him in the finals. Yeah. It's happened to him a couple times, but to me that was probably because of Jason Terry's stature and age at the time. Like that was one of the
I would think you would say
gross undressings of LeBron for his career.
Well, they beat a great Miami team, but Chris, I thought you would lean more. You or Dez both would lean more toward those Shaq, Kobe teams. No,
I think that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, and I just wanted to be different, man. Bring that unique perspective. I thought that, to me, that was one of the last great teams, just really greatly built. I'm not talking about having a surplus of superstars and having, like, that was a realistic team. You didn't have to smash the market or get all these great draft picks or have a team like the Brooklyn Nets just really blow it and basically just, make such a stupid move. You didn't have to rob the candy store to get that team.
Okay.
Like, that was a real team, like, really built. They really only had one superstar, and that was Dirk. You know what I'm saying? And even he was going up against the Miami Heat, that had three guys, you know what I'm saying, at an all-star level, perennial all-star level, and two superstar level guys who are still in their prime. Wade is in his prime at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So, I just think that team, it is, it's hard not to recognize them. That's the notch in, that's one of the jewels in LeBron's crown that keeps him from being, a lot better than Jordan. Dirk stole one. Dirk and that team, they really did steal one, and that's the only one Jason Kidd got. That's the only one that Jason Terry got. Like, it's some veteran guys who got some good careers. Jason Kidd obviously got a Hall of Fame career, and he stole one from LeBron James, and it was legendary.
Man, well, since y'all done throw out two.
Hey, well, and as a side, now I was a youngster then, but I think the Laker team that won 33 in a row, I think they were pretty dominant too. If I'm not mistaken, that might have been maybe, I don't know.
Was that the Showtime Lakers?
No, this was with Wilt. They won 33 in a row. I think that team won a championship that year, and I think that was a pretty dominant team too. Because you had Wilt. Was Jerry on? I think Jerry was on that team. But like I said, I was a youngster then. But I would think that would be considered. But as far as what I saw as I was getting older, as far as dominance, which was the question, that Philly team, man.
Was it dominance? I thought it was your favorite.
No, was the question favorite or
the first question was dominance, and then I say go to your favorite.
Oh, my favorite, of course, the Cavalier team. But then again, we live here in Cleveland.
Well, man, y'all threw some curveballs, man. I'm gonna throw a curveball too, man. I'm gonna say the most dominant team I've ever seen was that 04 Pistons, man. They was knocked off the three-peat of the Los Angeles Lakers, man, with Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups.
That wasn't a three-peat team.
They did. They kept the Lakers.
What's the name won in 2003? San Antonio won in 2003. The Lakers had won the three times before that.
Okay. And then who they beat though?
Who did San Antonio beat in 2003?
Okay. Who did Detroit beat? They didn't beat the Lakers?
They beat the Lakers, but the Lakers hadn't. They had three.
They beat Detroit. Beat them first, then they won two, right?
No, they won the three They won the 3, and then San Antonio beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, San Antonio came out the West, and then the Lakers came back out the West that following year, and that's when they got beat. They weren't coming off the 3-peat is when they got beat. Is what I'm saying.
But I like that team, man. It was built right. Larry Brown was a great coach, man. He's still my favorite coach of all time, man. I thought he did wonders with Philadelphia and out-coach Phil Jackson.
Arguably the best basketball coach. You don't get much better than Larry Brown.
So who did the Spurs beat in 03? Detroit? Or like an Indiana team, maybe?
Who did they beat in 03? I think they beat Detroit in 05 and 03. Who came out the East in 03? Was it New Jersey or somebody? I don't know.
Well, I know New Jersey went 2 years straight, but I thought it was against the Lakers.
Yeah.
No, 1 year somebody else beat them. Might have been New Jersey, Dan. I don't know.
So they went 3 years straight. New Jersey?
No, they didn't go 3 years straight. The Lakers beat them twice? No, I think they got beat by 2 different teams.
I got to look up that, man. That's interesting. I always thought that it was
2003. I'm trying to think who came out of the East in 2003. I'm thinking either New Jersey.
You're right, New Jersey.
Yeah, see. Chris, I ain't no joke, man.
So who
y'all got Pop's head?
Yeah, you worth your weight in gold on that call, man.
Hey, I'm not looking at no phone. I have nothing in front of me.
Well,
True enough, he ain't
so the
telling no
Lakers.
lies.
So the Lakers did. Who did the Lakers beat in all them years? Then they beat Indiana,
They beat Philly 1 year.
and then they beat, okay, you're right.
Indiana
And then they
and
beat
New
the
Jersey,
Nets.
right?
Okay, yeah. I'll be on the same page. And so, who's your favorite team? Oh, yeah. So your favorite team was Dallas, Chris. Your favorite team was the Cavs. So who was your best team then that you've ever seen, as far as being the most dominant team?
You talking to Chris, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. As far as being the most dominant,
yeah.
I'm gonna go with those championship Cavs.
Okay.
Ultimately, they toppled a monster. LeBron was at his best. LeBron had to be at his best, and Kyrie Irving had to be at his best. I said it before. That was a hell of a duo.
They beat supposedly
the greatest team ever assembled. And I know that they outdid themselves. You know, we're not gonna name no suckers. But I mean, ultimately, that was the team that was supposed to not be able to be beat. And that's the thing I be telling people about the Warriors now, man. Like, let's not start acting like this a regular team.
Those
That's
Bulls teams, those Laker teams, and those Boston teams, I think would beat up on those Cavs.
I guess. Have you ever seen two players get hot
they
like
had
that?
LeBron James and they had Kyrie Irving. Though, listen, a lot of those older Bulls teams, man, they had white point guards. Can't none of them boys check Kyrie.
The Bulls would have wiped the floor with the Cavaliers.
No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have.
Chris?
Because all I see is them big man. Which one of them boys?
The Bulls
who would have stopped Kyrie in the pick
with
and roll?
the Cavaliers, man.
Well, Dennis Rodman, arguably one of the best defenders of all time.
You think he would have been able to stop Kyrie?
He gave LeBron some problems, though.
Yeah, he would have gave LeBron some problems. But do you think they would have been prepared for what Kevin Love do?
And Pippen,
spreading the floor?
and Mike on Kyrie.
We had some players.
They would have wiped the floor with the Cavaliers. Chris, come on.
I'm not gonna say that they would have wiped the floor with him. I don't see that.
Yeah, okay.
You think JR could stop Mike?
No, JR can't stop Mike. But you know, all we gotta do, man, we just trying to hold Mike down. Ultimately, we gonna put Brian on Mike.
They'd have ran Golden State out the gym.
I don't know. Like I said, I got a lot of respect for Mike. I never say what Mike won't do.
They ran both of them teams out the gym.
What y'all want to do, man? We gonna watch the game, man. Y'all want to kind of report on the game, man? What's up, man?
Man, you know, we didn't put in a lot of work tonight. We got the Cavs action coming in live right now. But I don't want to talk us to death. We didn't said a lot of things about the playoffs. I think we didn't laid it out.
Yeah, but it's not to be. Originally, the producer didn't want it to be a playoff show. And we talked basically about the playoffs.
That's what's going on right now, man. Playoffs.
Look at that,
basketball,
36
it's at the
compared to 6 point.
It's at the forefront of sports, as we can see him compare to two starting backcourts, Terry Rozier and Jaylen Brown, averaging a whopping 36 points per game, to, you know, Cavs, George Hill and J.R. Smith, a mere 6 points per game. And that was Pop's key for the night heading into this action. Home team is revving up to take the floor. We hoping that you're going to join in with us and check it out.
Chris, what's up with Bron's playing tonight? What's going to happen? What Bron going to do?
I mean, Bron's playing is going to be a big win tonight. Big win tonight. We all eat. And I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's gonna be, you're gonna get 35 with a triple double for LeBron and a double double from Kevin Love, and I think that we get 10 apiece at least from Jr., Kyle Korver, and Tristan Thompson.
Close game, blowout. What?
I think it's a close game throughout 3, and the home team pulls away about mid fourth quarter.
Quick question: we excited about the Browns being on Hard Knocks?
Not excited about the Browns being on Hard Knocks, man. I thought it was it was very sad for me. I think with where the position that we in, being 1-31. I mean, obviously, I don't think you can refuse it. I think it's a league thing, but I know that the owners. It's a good old boys club with those owners. I think if you really say, no, I really want to try to build something with my team. I want us to be able to go about our business quietly. We got an exuberant young rookie quarterback in an impatient city. This the last thing I want is for this kid to have a bunch of cameras in his face and a bunch of people treating him like a superstar. Like, I just feel like it's going to put him in the mindset of being an entertainer and not a student and not a quarterback. Like, we not here to have fun. We not here to put on the show. We here to go do the hardest work in the most humblest way. To me, that should be the mission for the as we see George Hill come out and hit the floater. Nice aggressive move into the lane.
Hey.
And aggressive on D. Come on, ref. I don't know about that, ref. But we come out and Cavs jump out with a 2-zip lead early. Nice aggressive move by George Hill.
Hey, man, this GamePoint podcast, man. Holla at us.
Peace.